Sports Day is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Good snap and placement. Kick on the way. It is up. And good! It's good! The Wildcats are champions of the Big 12 in 2022. They stun 12-0 TCU and win it in overtime 31-28.
I just think that was great execution just overall by just the defense. You know, we talked about situations like that just happen to bow up, and that's what championship games come down to.
Whenever I got recruited to come here, Coach Kleiman said we're going to build a culture that's going to win championships. It's going to be built on a team, player-first, player-led team, and, man, we've built that.
Burrow wants to throw, short pass, caught at the 5. Boom. Chris Evans into the end zone. Touchdown, Bengals!
Very similar to what we've done before, and that's within his range. If I don't think he can make it, then I'm not going to do it.
I'm ready for whatever coach decides. If we want to kick the field goal, I believe we have one of the best kickers in the league, so I'm going to give him the chance to kick the field goal, and if coach wants to go for it, I believe that we can make it happen.
She played well. I think early she kept us even in the game. Never lost the lead, I don't think, but it just didn't feel good for a good chunk of it. And she's one of those kids you just can't take her off the court. Both sides of the ball, whether she's defending or playing offense, she's just a huge star.
Snap to Rush. Hand off. Davis up the middle. First down. Coming left. 10, 5. Malik Davis. You get a touchdown. You get a touchdown.
Who didn't get a touchdown for the Cowboys last night? Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. A jam-packed show coming up here today after a glorious sports weekend that included Kansas State winning the Big 12 championship. Steve Webster with you, Mike Hesher aboard, Mike Courson in studio today, as we'll also be welcoming in Alan Clark, Barton women's basketball coach, Jim Misuanas from the Great Bend Tribune, and we're going to talk some wrestling today. In fact, there's so many wrestlers at Great Bend High School, they don't not only get 1 day, but they get 2 days, because today we're going to talk boys wrestling on Panther Prowl with Mike Courson, and then we'll hit the girls. So that'll be kind of like a regular Monday, Tuesday thing as we get back into the flow of things with the winter sports season.
I call that a 1-2 punch.
A 1-2 punch, yeah. So great weekend. I know this morning we covered a show that I have no idea about. It went off the air, so we covered that this morning, so we don't need to do that now. I'll throw this out there right now so you guys, you'll jump in here at some point. The Netherlands taking care of Team USA, so that's kind of a bummer maybe to start off the weekend. But and then it was really good on Saturday, and then yesterday the day kind of ended on a sour note. Mr. Hesher, your impressions on your weekend that you had. I saw you down here Saturday.
What weekend? Did I have a weekend?
No, you don't have that. It's basketball season now.
My weekend started with a dust storm about Dighton. And it lasted until we got to Scott City, and we were down to 50, 55 mile an hour, and, we had the flashers on.
You got your flashers on, and you're still going 55?
Everybody else had their flashers on.
Going 55?
Yes.
Well,
I wasn't driving.
That's too fast, isn't it?
Huh?
That's too fast, isn't it?
Is there a speed limit for your flashers?
Well, usually if you got your flashers on, it means you can't see more than 15 feet in front of you.
We couldn't see very far ahead of us.
And you're going down the road 55 miles an hour. Okay.
Well, it was my vehicle, but I wasn't driving, so I don't know what to tell you. Obviously, good thing for K-State. Bengals guy called in the trading post this morning. He was he's not on this show at all, correct?
No, Bengals guy's a good dude, man.
Right.
But that's for trading post.
Okay.
He cannot morph over into. This isn't like Petticoat Junction and then going over and you can go to
Green Acres.
Yeah, and then to Green Acres. No. All right, let's get to our sounds the past 24 hours or so. Wyatt Thompson, the call Saturday. Learfield Sports, Ty Zentner hitting the game-winning 31-yard field goal. Kendra Miller, Cat linebacker. Defense stopping TCU from inside the one, not once, but twice. Talking about that gang mentality.
It's another one of those, if you only caught the last 5 minutes.
It was a great game.
K-State's ahead. Here comes TCU. quarterback who I kind of think he vaulted himself into the Heisman favorite with the last couple series there. But to have that stop.
Max Duggan's a stud, man, but it wasn't enough, and Kansas State stepped up. What a season they had. Deuce Vaughn, 130 yards, touchdown. Talking about what Chris Kleiman told him when he came there. We're going to build a winning culture. We're going to win a winning championship program. Well, it's not a national championship, but it is a Big 12 football championship, and they got it, and they will now go on to the Sugar Bowl.
And it's still funny to be disappointed, but I still just feel terribly disappointed. All three of those losses were winnable games, and you're still that high up in the rankings. You knock off a team that's in the top 4. You should have beat them twice. So when he talks about the culture, I hope it's just the start, because this could have been an even bigger year.
Well, you're kind of sounding very Alabama-like here today.
Yeah. So then the funny thing is you get that draw, and you're like, well, I don't want to play Alabama. I'd rather play one of the top 4 schools. I don't want Alabama in the top 4, but I sure don't want to play him outside the top 4 either.
So this is the big thing right now, and Kansas also getting a bowl bid. They'll be going to Liberty Bowl. They won't be taking on Missouri. They'll be taking on Arkansas. That's kind of disappointing. Maybe KU's in there. Then you have Georgia, Michigan. Michigan takes on TCU. Ohio State takes on Georgia. So this is the time for the Big 12, because I mean, if you're one of those conferences like the SEC and TCU is in the SEC, would they be talking about them losing and falling out and not making the playoffs? So some two-loss team can pass them. This is it. I mean, they've got a chance to prove it, but the big question is, who's going to be on the field for Alabama? I hope they bring everybody, but you've got a lot of players going to go to the NFL. I mean, are we going to see the Bryce Young? Are we going to see him in there? Are we going to see? Are a bunch of guys going to sit out the bowl game? And then that will be disappointing for me, because it won't. Because they'll just deflect. Well, we didn't have all our players, so
the worst case would be if Alabama does that and wins. But if K-State beats a decimated squad, then they'll never get credit for it. So it's almost like a lose-lose. But I was watching the Tennessee game. Patrick Mahomes does athletic stuff, but he doesn't always look athletic. Bryce he looks the part and plays the part. So it'd be fun to play him and beat him.
Well, sure. That's because if you don't, didn't Oklahoma beat Alabama when one of the few times they didn't make it, and everybody said, "Well, no, it wasn't anything on the line. It was just a bowl game." TCU, K-State, go out there and get it done. Hopefully, we'll have the Sugar Bowl here for you New Year's Eve right here on KVGB.
Well, obviously, Friday's game had implications coming into this game. USC, all they had to do was win out, and they lose, and so then it opens the door. Maybe TCU can lose today if they keep it close. So once it went to overtime, I felt pretty safe TCU was going in.
Yeah, it was because if you look at it, say if it's NFL rules, TCU's still undefeated, right? And then Nick Saban comes on. He had some very compelling arguments. Who are they going to be lined up with where they're not going to be the favorite? But that was his reasoning. Well, when was the last time Alabama was an underdog? And then you have the Supreme Court. That's what it's about. The Supreme Court makes their final ruling, and these are the 4 teams that move forward. You got to impress the Supreme Court, or in this place, would you trust the football selection committee more, or would you trust the guys who set the lines in Vegas on the teams that get into the...
the Vegas guys obviously have a job to do,
yes,
but it doesn't matter who was the best. Alabama lost twice. Sorry, the rules we have gone by for the past years say if you lose 2, you're out.
Nick Saban may get fired after all of this is over with. Okay, to the Chiefs. The call yesterday on the Bengals radio network, Joe Burrow connects with Chris Evans for the 8-yard touchdown, gave the Bengals a 27-24 lead. A couple big plays in the game. Of course, the Travis Kelce fumble as the Chiefs were rolling down the field. Stuff happens. Chiefs did get a chance. They drove down. Patrick Mahomes barely got sacked, so it was on a 3rd and 3. So now it's 4th and 7. I didn't think there was any way that the Chiefs were going to not go for it. I really didn't. I mean, Butker's good from 55 yards, but even if he makes that field goal, there's still, over 4 minutes left to go, and you think the Chiefs are going to keep Joe Burrow from not at least getting a field goal? And 4th and 7, how many? I think Andy lost his nerve a little bit. He said, well, if I didn't think he wasn't going to miss, because even if they don't get it, the Bengals can get the ball at the same spot that they got it anyway, maybe a little bit further back. The Chiefs got 6 yards instead of 7. I was really surprised at that decision to not. And Patrick Mahomes, he's talking about, well, I'll do what my coach said. Well, I don't know if he's thinking about that when he slammed his helmet down on the bench. I don't think he was very happy with that. I was just curious about that. Because I don't have any. I mean, the Chiefs' defense played pretty good, but Burrow is really, really good. It's like facing the Chiefs. So, I mean, I wouldn't have any confidence that they would keep the Bengals from at least getting a field goal to take the lead right back.
It's just like the K-State game. During the play, you had Kirk Herbstreit saying some coaches would kick the ball here to make K-State score. So I think it's easy to second guess. I mean, obviously it cost TCU.
Yeah, it's easy to second guess. He should have gone for it. If they wouldn't have got it, I would. I mean, because, and obviously not knowing if he made the field goal or not, but from 55 yards, I mean, Butker's got the leg. I mean, he had the distance. It was just that's a hard field goal, and you get the ball back at the same spot.
A big play that kind of overlooked what it was. Chiefs still had the chance to get the ball back. I think it was 3rd and 11, and Burrow tucked one in into tight coverage. That was ball game.
Again, Joe Burrow's really, 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 really good. That was disappointing. So the Chiefs have 3 losses now. My son-in-law is a Bronco fan, and as he came over there, as the Chiefs game was getting underway and the Chiefs fell behind early, he said, well, yeah, we knocked Lamar Jackson out of the game and
still lost
the game 10-9. So the Broncos, the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon.
They did flex out of that.
Obviously, the big implications from Sunday is Buffalo is also 9-3, and they've got the tie break, so now we're back into the number 2 seat.
Well, at least maybe it'll snow 40 inches again if the Chiefs have to go back up there, and they'll move the game to Detroit. Indoors, that'd be fine.
Buffalo has seemed up and down enough that there's a decent chance.
I'd rather the Chiefs play the Bills instead of...
The Bengals seem to have their number. There's no question about that.
But 3 times in 1 year.
Now, somebody on this other show that I'm involved with says it was 4. Now, I know it's 3 the last year.
In the last year.
But it goes to 4.
So 4 years in a row. Well,
yeah, 4 games in a row. I don't know when the last time they played was. I did not do my homework on that.
So is Patrick Mahomes going to come out and say that Joe Burrow is my daddy?
I was going to bring that up. I saw a picture.
You two are thinking alike now? Whoa.
High school basketball getting underway Friday. I had the opportunity to go see the Great Bend Panthers, and anyway, it was, you had the same problems at your game, so technical engineer, once again, we did get the game on.
It was a struggle, though, wasn't it? Frustration more than anything else.
Lady Panthers win 47-28. The boys blown out early, 84-51. Okay, Sadie Spray, listen to the stat line. Okay, she was 9 of 14 from the field, 1 of 4 on three-point shots, had 4 rebounds, 2 assists. She had 14 deflections and 9 steals.
Yikes.
Who else does that? That's an Emily Ryan line. Except Ryan probably had got like 39 points. But, yeah, girls kind of struggled. It was a sloppy game, but they did get the win. The boys' game, holy smokes. Man, you talk about momentum shift. Panthers got it close. It was 7 points and then just an 18-0 run just like that. I think it's like a 43-5. They scored 61 points in the first half. However, I do take some positives out of the game because a couple of freshmen for Great Bend High School, Ian Kramer had 15 points, and he can 6'3", hit a three-pointer in that game. And Jacob Hall came right in. He had 6 points in the first quarter. It just amazes me how freshmen can come into games now, especially at a 5A level, and not seem overwhelmed at all. It's like they've been doing it all the time. So Panthers did outscore them 30-23 in the second half. I know, well, Junction City didn't pull the pressure off at all. They pressed even during the fourth quarter with a running clock. And, just settled down a little bit. The turnovers were leading. It was chaos. It was an evacuation, man. There's layups one after the other. So the Panthers will get back. They'll both play Sterling in the Eagle Classic coming up on Thursday.
You get the running clock. It's great late in the season, especially as media. Let me get back. This game's terrible, but you got freshmen playing varsity basketball for the first time, and you got a short game, and it's got to be an exception to the rule sometimes.
Well, what if you come in? Well, you don't have
to. It's not when I'm covering it.
Okay. It's all about the media.
Yes.
Hoisington girls lose to Scott City.
Yes.
By 10 points. One of the things that following Lady...
It was 40-22. It was more than 10 points. We had it wrong on GreatBendPost.com.
Oh, was it different?
Yes.
Okay.
Boys lost by 10. Girls lost by 40-22. They went...
Girls lost 40-22?
Yeah. They scored... They went... I'm figuring 15 minutes of game time without scoring.
Whew.
Yeah. They missed 19 shots in a row, according to my statistician.
I didn't expect that. Other scores. So, Scott City wins the boys' game 50-40.
That is correct.
Okay. That's not bad.
No. Scott City had... Yeah, it wasn't as close as that 10-point.
40-22. Ooh. Okay. Other boys scores. Pratt beat Larned 65-19. Ellenwood over La Crosse 67-34. Derek Joyner's going to be on the show tomorrow. So he'll be in. A couple players. Checking in as well.
Filling up the studio, huh?
Yeah. Green Academy over Central Plains 42-40. Maxville beat Ness City by the score of 42-40. Maxville 63. Ness City 29. Stafford 56, St. John 30. Wilson beat Otis Bison 62-55. Girls scores. Pratt beat Larned 52-50. Breen Academy over Central Plains 46-29. Ellenwood 53. La Crosse 40. Ness City beat Maxville 51-43. And Wilson over Otis Bison 53-38. By the way, that was Cindy Beck talking about the performance of Sadie Spray. And the call on 105.3 The Fan. Brad Sham the call. Malik Davis 23 yards for a touchdown in the fourth quarter. That was the exclamation point on the Cowboys' 54-19 win last night over the Colts. There you go. Sounds the past 24 hours. Run down the rest of the day's headlines coming up here. Baker Mayfield let go by the Carolina Panthers today. That was kind of interesting. So,
Deshaun Watson still playing.
Still playing. I know you like that. You were a big fan of his.
Real quick on Dallas. The only interesting part's the kettle they jump into. Ezekiel Elliott got fined a few years ago for doing it, and so a bunch of them did it last night. They filled it up.
Katy Classic gets underway today. Girls game, Spearville against St. John, Larned against Ellis. Boys games tonight at 6, Spearville and St. John, Larned taking on Ellis. Hoisington will get started tomorrow. They'll play at 4:30 at Larned High School. The boys play at 6 at Larned High School against Kinsley. Girls at 4:30. Barton basketball Saturday. Cougar men and women both fall on the road. Coffeyville beating Barton men 85-77. Lady Cougars fall 59-50. They'll be at Cloud County on Wednesday. And K-State rallied from behind to beat Wichita State with a score of 55-50 on Saturday night in Manhattan. Okay, we'll take a break. Alan Clark is in studio, still to come up. Jim Misuanas will be in, and wrestling talk with head coach Nathan Broeckelman at Great Bend High School. All part of the Monday Sports Day show here on KVGB. Learn the skills you need to get started in a new career in as little as one semester with Barton Community College's workforce training programs. Get real-world experience in fields like carpentry, natural gas, plumbing, scales tech, and welding. You can earn money while you go to school because most classes leave you with plenty of time for a part-time job or apprenticeship. Classes begin January 10th. Sign up today and start your new career. Visit GoBarton.com to get started.
If you need physical therapy, consider Advanced Therapy in Great Bend and Progressive Therapy in Larned and Hayes.
I had a young gal come in the other day who has been having chronic back pain. Did a session just helping her to understand her pain, not understanding her back, but teaching her how her nervous system works. And just that knowledge just calmed her down so much. She came back in this morning, huge smile on her face, and she was so excited to learn more. It was a blast.
Call Advanced or Progressive Therapy and Sports Medicine to explore your treatment options and get your life back.
It's another instant finalist day in the Shop at Home for the Holidays $10,000 shopping spree. Today we're at Jim Low Glass until 5 o'clock, and Megan's got all the details on all things glass.
Yes, we do. We offer all on commercial glass. We do storefronts and doors, entry doors and exterior doors. On the residential side, we do storm windows, screens, glass shower installs. For the mirrors, we do tabletops, desktops.
And Megan, tell us about some of the great deals you're offering today.
We are offering all auto glass 10% off if you book today only. That's all on back glass, windshields, quarter glass, and door glass. And we also give free quotes as far as the commercial side and on the auto glass.
Great deals going on at Jim Low Glass. Stop on by before 5 o'clock today and get yourself registered to become our next instant finalist in the Shop at Home for the Holidays $10,000 shopping spree. Presented to you by Bauer Computers, Mater Plumbing, Heating and Air, your Bryant dealer in Great Bend, and Eagle Radio and Whole Broadcasting.
Now, in its second decade, it's Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM. Presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
It's Monday. That means Alan Clark joins us here on the program, head coach of the Barton Community College women's team. Tough loss, Alan, Saturday, but it goes, as they say, if you don't put the ball through the basket, and I think he shot 22%. It was tough shooting day down at Coffeyville Saturday.
Yeah, 26% or something like that. But yeah, and unfortunately we had nobody that could put it in the basket. We couldn't find an answer to their defense, but on Wednesday we played really well against Independence. So that's how do you know?
It's how do you know exactly? So Coffeyville, anything they were doing specifically maybe to slow you down a little bit?
Oh yeah, they were doubling Jenny in the low post, and we had a couple kids that they basically weren't even guarding. So they helped off onto Corey, and Morgan didn't went 1 for 8 from 3, and most of her looks were decent looks. So it was when we started out horrible, we're down 10-2 or 11-2 to start. And the thing I loved about our kids though that night, Webby, was that they didn't give up. I mean, we battled and we got it back down to 6, after being down 19. And so
you got it back to 6 in the fourth quarter then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cause you had 22 points at halftime, 33 at the end of 3 quarters. And then able to get some offense going at least. So
yeah, there was still 5 minutes to go in the game when we got it down to 6. So we had plenty of time to finish it up. But how much it takes so much effort to come back from down 19. And we were putting on a full court press, and unfortunately we got some turnovers, but several times we didn't convert off of our turnovers, which would have helped us too. And I probably should have taken it at 5 minutes. They took a timeout. We had a media timeout or whatever, and probably should have taken the press off at that point because we were gassed. We were tired. At 5 minutes to go, 6 points. Now, if we just play solid defense and get some stops on the half court, we can still win the game. But we kept the press on. They broke it a couple times. And so probably something I could have done better.
Well, they battled down the ends. You watch body language on your squad at all? I mean, just to see how those kids are reacting?
Yeah, oh yeah, and we tried to make some substitutions, but it was just not a good night for us in Coffeyville.
Who was able to really get going and get you back in the game?
Well, Brendan Kirchhoff knocked down a 3, and we got some steals in the press, and we did convert a couple times, but there was I'm looking at the film. I was watching the film just before I came in and hadn't gotten that far in the game yet, and so there was probably 3 or 4 times we got steals we didn't convert on.
Yeah.
And so those hurt. But it wasn't any necessarily one person. But Kirchhoff, I remember her hitting a 3 late in that stretch, and that got us going a little bit. Got some layups. Rachel Emanuel does a really good job in the press, the front of that press at 6'2" and long and athletic, and caused some havoc for them, but just couldn't sustain it.
Well, we were in here when we talked last week, talked about the length of the season, and how you put, one game. So let's go back to last Wednesday. That was, as maybe you struggled, but man, you didn't struggle last Wednesday.
Yeah.
You blew Independence right out of the tub.
Yeah, we'd like to save some of those points, for Saturday. Then if they would let us do that, I mean, we're up 40 against Independence at the end of the third quarter, and we just played so well. Our offense was just clicking, and we were moving and cutting and passing, and we were just doing everything right. and then Saturday, then we can't get the ball in the basket. So, but Coffeyville's a good team. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they beat Butler on Wednesday at Coffeyville, and Butler was ranked as well as us, and so they got 2 big wins this week. Both of them at home though. So
yeah, playing at home, playing on the road. What's that mean in Jayhawk?
Oh, it's at least 10 points. I think it's at least 10 points in the Jayhawk.
Is it because of different surroundings, home crowd? I mean,
just everything,
just travel,
just combination of all those things together. I'm not going to bash officials because I thought the officials did a really good job at Coffeyville. I thought they did a very good job. But normally, home court's going to be worth 2 or 3 points, 4 points. It's the same way when we play at home. It is. And then. Like you said, the surroundings are different. You're more comfortable at home, obviously. 4-hour bus ride out to Coffeyville, and then trying to play a game, and yeah, so it's a lot of things involved. But it might not be 10, but I'm gonna guess it's close to that.
It's really interesting to look at these standings right now because that kind of slid you down a little bit at 3-2. But then there's Hutchinson at 3-3. Butler's on top, along with Coffeyville, then Cloud County, and then you said they got beat by Pratt, right? So,
yeah.
Seward County's 4, Dodge is 4-1.
Yeah. It's early in the season, and it's a lot of it's where you've played, who you've played, as well as were you on the road at those games. Our 2 losses are at Hutch and at Coffeyville. They both have to come to our place later in the year, so. But we've got to pick up some wins on the road. They're tough to come by, but we've got to do it. If you're going to win the conference, you got to win some games on the road. You got to obviously take care of your home court, win on your home court, and then steal a few on the road.
At Cloud on Wednesday night,
and them coming off a loss at Pratt. And Brett's going to be upset, and he's going to have his players ready to go. But it's one we need to be ready for too.
So tell me about Cloud County. What some things that you got to be ready for on Wednesday?
Well, they're better than they were last year. They have a big 6'2" kid, international kid, plays a lot like Rachel does. Long and athletic. They've got a kid back from last year that plays the 4 spot or 3 or 4. Kid from New Zealand. I can't pronounce her name, so I don't even try. So she's back from last year, and she gave us trouble. They've got a point guard that shoots it pretty well and she shoots it pretty deep. Brett just does a great job with them every year. He's been around for a long time, and they play well at home. They beat Hutch at home, and they beat Seward at home. So it's going to be a tough one for us.
Interesting place to play. It's another roundhouse,
Yeah.
And always seems like a pretty good shooting environment, but who knows?
Yeah, I don't know that we've ever really shot particularly well there, but I mean we've won up there the last 2 times we've been up there. But this will be a little tougher because they're a little better this year.
Okay, we're winding down. This is going to be a very busy week for you. So 3 games through a week from tonight. You'll wrap it up as far as the pre-Christmas schedules.
Yeah, and the other part of it, Steve, we forget about is these kids are also students, and they're in finals week. And,
boy.
And we had several kids. We had several kids taking college algebra finals today, and one having a chemistry final today, and so you throw that stuff on top of all the pressure that we put on them basketball wise and the time commitment that they have for that, and it's not easy for them this week. I kind of wish we would take that into consideration when we schedule. Is maybe we can play that Monday game. Of course, the Monday game will be after finals are all over, so that won't be as bad. But preparation for us for our game, and then they've got finals basically through Thursday. It's hard on those kids, and they get stressed, because they want to do well in the classroom, and so there's a lot of pressure on those kids, and sometimes we got to loosen that up a little bit.
So for this week, do you alter your practice schedule at all, or when do you usually go?
Well, we practice in the morning at 9:30 usually. We had to wait for some kids this morning because their final schedule went 8 to 9:50, and so the kids that could make it this morning at 9:30 were there. We did some individual work with them, and then when the rest of them could make it after their finals were over, then we went for another hour and 15 minutes after that, and then now that some of them got finals this afternoon, some of them got finals this evening, and more tomorrow. It's just a lot for them.
Yeah. Okay.
KU's not playing this week because of that. KU took the week off because
is it that crowded that second semester when you come back January and February? Is it?
Yeah.
To push any of that back, or
it's crowded, but I don't know. I'm glad I don't have to make up the schedule.
Yeah.
You know, 'cause it is hard. It's hard, but I don't know what else you do.
Well, and then, of course, because you got some kids that, okay, this Christmas break coming up too,
Yeah.
You get a little bit of time off, get to go home, see, eat mom, and mom's cooking now.
Well, that's another thing is once we play next Monday, then they're off for 2 weeks, basically, and come back, and, right after Christmas, we'll get at it again.
How do you handle that when the kids come back and, basically campus is empty at that time?
Well, we've got to take care of all the necessities as far as, they, for some reason, they want to eat twice, 2 or 3 times a day.
I just
and
don't get that.
Cafeteria's closed, and so we got to take care of that. But we'll probably go 2-a-days for the first 2 or 3 days and try to get back into some shape. And, we've only got a week, and we start playing again once we come back, so that won't be too bad.
Alan, appreciate it.
I appreciate it, Steve.
Hey, good luck Wednesday up at Concordia.
Thank you.
Okay, Alan Clark with us here on Sports Day. And, we'll have those games for you coming up on Wednesday night. Cole Rife on B1043 The Point. Pregame at 5:15. Jim Misuanas, Great Bend Tribune, checking in next. Nathan Broeckelman still to come. Great Bend Panther Wrestling here on Sports Day.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Rife, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
Let technology bring you closer this holiday season to loved ones near and far. With unlimited data as low as $25 a month, you can get the phone you want with the features you need from the best people. Next Tech Wireless. Keeping Kansans connected.
Receive only the finest granite, quartz, and custom installation from J.R. Granite, Ellsworth. Co-owner Robert Hicks.
One thing you won't have with me is a pressured sale. The natural beauty of the stone sells itself. I suggest customers take their time and choose exactly what they want for material. This purchase will most likely last you a lifetime. If you're even considering buying countertops, now's a great time for a free quote.
Delivering nature's durable beauty that exceeds your expectations. J.R. Granite in Ellsworth.
Eagle offers a wide variety of fun, interactive contests and allows listeners and readers to win big prizes. And those contests also can help businesses craft their marketing plans, reach new audiences, and send coupons and other messaging via our email services. To find out more or to get started, contact your local Eagle representative today. Eagle Radio, online creative. Be heard, be seen, get results.
He's a veteran of high school and college sports coverage in Kansas. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Misuanas.
Jimbo's in here. Now, for those watching today on Great Bend Post-Doc, that's not a beer bottle, right? Okay, you didn't bring me a cold beer in here today.
No, this is a specially approved pop for Mr. Rife's young son, one of his young sons. His name is Fitz. So I just give him a bottle of Fitz root beer each year.
Fitz root beer.
Yeah, I missed his birthday by about a week.
Where do you find that at?
It's down at the Smith's Market in Hutchinson and South Main. Yeah, they got a bunch.
I've never seen Fitz root beer before.
Yeah, I had never seen. My high school was Boylan, and they have Boylan root beer, so I had to get some Boylan root beer too. So.
Jim Misuanas in to talk about everything that took place over the weekend. And all right, did you make it down there?
Didn't make it down there, but we had some. My son met up with Darren Sproles, gave him a post-game hug for Darren, and celebrated. He was just he had better seats than Kurt Warner. He said, "Oh yeah, Warner, I had better seats than him." So, and Kurt and his son had a little hug there, so he was just like within couple of feet of that. And what a classic ball game. I mean, you think, what are your odds of stopping somebody from the 1 yard line 2 or 3 times? And it was just an amazing defensive performance that they did that one time against Miami, Florida years ago. Their two best ever non-conference wins, in my opinion, are when they beat Southern Cal home and home. They beat them in Southern Cal. They beat them at home in Manhattan. Then they went down to Miami, Florida, and beat Miami, Florida too. I consider those two the best, victories over Power 5 teams that K-State's ever had. But it worked out perfectly for K-State. And when Southern Cal lost Friday night, it was perfect. TCU was going to be in, win or lose. Michigan was going to be in, win or lose. Georgia was going to be in, win or lose. So, it was perfect for K-State because, as long as TCU didn't get beat by 50, they were going to be in the playoffs. And K-State took advantage. And, what a ball game. I mean, back and forth. And Max Duggan, who
is a stud. Yeah,
that guy got beat up so bad. And there he is running 50 yards down the sideline. Yeah, really, the only thing K-State did wrong in that game defensively was they had corralled Duggan's run game the whole game, and they get down to the last drive of the game, Duggan for 50, Duggan for 20, Duggan for 15, Duggan touchdown. That was the only really defensive lapse. I mean, their receivers are good, and they give a quarterback like him protection. He's going to hit some plays. But you can defend the quarterback run game, but it is really, really hard. It's really hard. And they haven't necessarily adopted my plan of when you get in those situations late, what you do is you don't hard rush, you soft rush. You soft rush, and you're not concerned about necessarily getting to the quarterback, because what happens is if you hard rush, you go by the quarterback, guess what happens? There's no one left.
Well,
and that's exactly what happened.
Unless you're playing robber or something like that, you get a spy back there.
You probably need a couple spies against guys like Mahomes and Duggan. But yeah, credit to TCU. What a great ball team that is. And I would have liked to have seen them play Ohio State, but that wasn't going to work out. I mean, I'm glad it worked out well because Ohio State and Michigan, they didn't want a rematch. And I think what the final rankings showed is that TCU would have been in even if Southern Cal had won, because they were still ranked ahead of Ohio State. So based on that, they still would have been the fourth team in.
But it's like the Supreme Court makes its ruling, and those are the four teams. But we'll get up to 12. I'm going to like that.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, K-State would be in the round of 12, and it would be fun to be in a 12-team playoff. But Alabama, that's exactly what I predicted was that it would be Alabama, and it's just a perfect game for Kansas State. They beat LSU last year, big, mighty team from the SEC, and they get another one.
That was missing a lot of players, okay?
Well, you show up with the name on your uniform.
I know, but as far as for the Big 12, Alabama, I hope they bring everybody. Because if not, it's they beat Alabama, but they didn't have Bryce Young. They didn't have this guy. I hope Alabama puts some people out there, and I want to see K-State go toe-to-toe with their best.
Well, and that's why K-State wanted to play Alabama, not Tennessee, because Tennessee's quarterback is hurting out for the year, so they didn't want to play Tennessee. They want to play Alabama. Hey, Alabama, show up with whoever wants to play. If you don't want to play, don't go to New Orleans. And K-State, their fans and their team, they are excited about playing in that game. Alabama, I guess we'll see. So...
And again, that'll be they didn't, they didn't have these players. They didn't have anything to play. It's a built-in excuse. It's almost a no win for K-State. Well, if you beat Alabama, yes. But.
Well, and one thing that the SEC proponents never talk about, how many conference games does the Big 12 play? They play 9. How many does the SEC play? They play 8. Guess what happens when you play 9 games? Half your teams have another loss. They never talk about that.
No, of course not.
Because, it's not in ESPN's interest or SEC's interest to talk about, we only play one less conference game. Well, that's 8 more losses or 7 more losses for your team.
I just can't believe, Nick Saban not wanting to be competitive in a game. But
no, I guarantee you he'll coach whoever shows up. It's just one of those things. He'll coach whoever shows up. Yeah, it was fun to see him play. We saw the Cincinnati-Alabama game down in Arlington last year. It was just a lot of fun to see Alabama. They got 30 guys with white coats running around with their coaches and student assistants and everybody. It was a lot of fun to see Alabama play, and so now K-State will get a close-up view of that. Yeah, K-State, they're excited. They've never been to the Sugar Bowl, so, yeah, their fans will travel well. And we got 6 tickets secured for the next bowl game. So
there you go.
There we go.
Jim Misuanas, by the way, is a Heisman Trophy.
Yes, that's true.
voter,
Had to get that vote in this weekend.
So, and you voted after all the games were over.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah,
and your selection was?
Well, you're not supposed. Usually, you can talk in general terms because you're not supposed to say. Okay. I don't want to get suspended from never voting again. But there were some really good quarterback candidates. There was, obviously. Duggan from TCU, the Alabama quarterback, Tennessee quarterback, unfortunately got hurt. Ohio State quarterback, and really what you like to do is you like to see all the games play out because Stroud from Ohio State just had a horrible game. Now, although the Southern Cal quarterback didn't have a great game, he was hurt the whole game. So I'll give Williams a pass, Caleb Williams a pass for that because he was just like Duggan. He was hurt, he was beat up. He's trying to do what he could, and you can't penalize a guy like that. And there's some really good. It usually goes quarterback, running backs. Bijan Robinson and Deuce Vaughn were the top backs in the Big 12, and they both really deserve consideration too. Deuce Vaughn, he's got a guy beat on him at the 15-yard line. He stops. He starts. The guy just falls on the ground. It was just perfect Deuce Vaughn.
Okay, so you're not going to tell us who
No, those are the guys that
okay.
I have out there.
So you do vote. You just vote for one, right?
Vote for 3,
okay.
First, second, and third. So I would imagine. I always hope that my 3 always make the finals, and a good chance that all 3 will make the finals. So.
Okay, high school basketball getting underway on Friday night. Great Bend Panthers go to Junction City. Man, what a game by Sadie Spray.
Yeah, again, if you haven't seen Sadie up close, she's got long arms. She's got great anticipation. She's a terrific athlete. She's a smart girl. I've never seen girls block 3-point shots before, and she did that last year. I said, how did she do that? How can she do that? Because blocking a 3-point shot is not easy because you can easily foul the person, but she did it all the time last year. So the fact that she had 15 deflections, she had to be close to 10 steals. I don't know.
It was 9 steals.
I knew it was getting close, and Great Bend might have lost that game had she not played like that because they got it back within 8 points. But yeah, Sadie Spray, she's those Sprays. They're just terrific family, and they're competitors. Well, when you grow up with a bunch of brothers, guess what? You either get beat up or you fight back, and Sadie's the type, she fights back. She's a competitor. So, yeah, nice opener for the girls.
And for the boys, you go back like me. You're, back in our day. I don't ever remember, freshmen coming on the scene and looking like they belong there. But Ian Pramer and Jacob Hall.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. It was
15 and 12.
It has to be the best freshman performance by a pair of players maybe ever. Or you have to go back 50 years or something because it's just crazy.
They weren't nervous or anything?
No, they just played with, it was like, no, they take the ball in the paint, put the ball back, shoot a little hook shot, go up to the boards. Yeah, they were tremendous. And Great Bend showed, number one, when you see that kind of pressure, number one, you got to attack it to a point, but you can't throw lob passes to half court.
Yeah.
You can't dribble and stop your dribble and get double teamed. They were doing such silly mental mistakes. And then they locked that down, said, hey, guys, we got to be stronger with the ball. We got to meet the pass. We got to throw hard passes, not lob passes. And once we get the dribble going, don't give up your dribble. Keep going until they stop you and then reverse the ball. Well, second half, they outscored them 30-23.
And the third quarter was a big one because and Junction City pressed the whole time.
Oh, yeah. It was impressive that, Perez is from Larned. I believe he's from Larned originally.
Yeah.
Just a great game plan because I've always believed that when you put your second team in, you should play exactly the same way. You should never change because how do those guys get used to varsity basketball if you change the way you play?
And Kyle Cree said that on the postgame show.
Yeah,
too.
no, I think Kyle is exactly right. What you do is you want your team to play against that because you don't want your backup guys saying, oh, yeah, this is not so hard varsity. No, it is tough because they were still pressing you, and those backup guys still had to come in and play. So, no, I always like when teams play the same way. Now, there was the Central Plains rule where they'd get up to 96 or 98 in recent years, and then they turn it off. But that's the 100-point rule that Pat Stiles had there for a couple of years. But yeah, no, it was really an impressive second half because they took their time, they showed poise, and really it comes down to that. It doesn't matter what the other team does. You can't get sped up, and that's exactly what happened that first half.
So it's going to be down to Kingman instead of Hayes, so it'll be Sterling coming up on Thursday. And the Sterling girls took it on the chin to Hillsboro, and by a good margin. But then the Sterling boys, they had a huge lead on Hillsboro. It turned out to be a 6-point game, but, I mean, they were up by like 25 points in that game. So
yeah, Coach Schneider does a fantastic job there. Back when they used to be in the Central, it wasn't Central Kansas, it was Central something else. It had a different name, but they won the state title on the boys' side, and the reason was because they played Heston and Hillsboro and Halstead and Nickerson, and it helped them win a state title. Now they're in a different league, but yeah, that's a quality win. So I was really impressed by that. Sterling girls graduated all 5 starters. They do have a 6'5" girl who's maybe the second tallest girl I've ever seen in high school.
Yeah, and she's a sophomore this year.
Yeah, and she's pretty athletic. But yeah, Sterling graduated everybody. So yeah, they're down. But yeah, Sterling boys, yeah, that's going to be a good test.
Jimbo, appreciate you coming in. Need to run. Anything else real quick here?
Well, one thing I noted that the sub-states were out. Central Plains goes to Little River. Here's the records of these teams on the girls' side last year. Central Plains 24-1, Little River 22-2, Pretty Prairie 25-1 state champ, St. John 15-8, and Maxville 12-11. 5 teams that are state quality teams, all in the same sub-state at Little River. Good luck, Central Plains and Pat Stiles.
Oh, boy. Okay. All right, Jim, thanks a lot. We'll talk to you next Monday. Jim Misuanas, Great Bend Tribune, with us on Sports Day.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB, Great Bend, and 95.5 FM K238CK, Hoisington.
If you're not filling with Cenex Premium Diesel, then you're not giving your fuel system the premium treatment. Cenex Roadmaster XL comes with a more complete additive package for a more complete burn, while restoring your power by up to 4.5% and your fuel economy by up to 5%. Typical number 2 diesel? I guess it covers the basics. Cenex Premium Diesel. Diesel that doesn't mess around.
Contact American Plains Co-op in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor today.
Learn the skills you need to get started in a new career in as little as 1 semester with Barton Community College's workforce training programs. Get real-world experience in fields like carpentry, natural gas, plumbing, scales tech, and welding. You can earn money while you go to school because most classes leave you with plenty of time for a part-time job or apprenticeship. Classes begin January 10th. Sign up today and start your new career. Visit GoBarton.com to get started.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
Let me guess. Unknown caller? You could reduce the number of unwanted calls and emails with online privacy protection. The latest innovation from Discover will help regularly remove your personal info, like your name and address, from 10 popular people search websites that could sell your data. And we'll do it for free. Activate in the Discover app. See terms and learn more at discover.com/online privacy protection.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
The Jimmy V Classic. Second-ranked Texas faces number 16 Illinois. Then it's Iowa versus 16th-ranked Duke.
Coverage at 5:30 Tuesday on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Courson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM. Mike Courson, joined today by Great Bend High School wrestling coach Nathan Broeckelman. Coach, you guys kind of hit the ground running this weekend.
Yeah, we had a pretty busy weekend. We started out in Manhattan with a varsity and a girls duel, and then our boys traveled to Valley Center in McPherson, and our girls took off back to McPherson on Saturday.
And so a little bit of a change this year. You guys obviously have boys and girls, but kind of split them up for officially this year?
We've kind of always been split, but we just kind of took some initiative, and we have 3 coaches on the boys' side, 3 coaches on the girls' side, and then I just kind of bounce back and forth and oversee both things. So we got a few more people on staff to help out and try to get some coaching-specific people on each side so that, it's not as confusing as the kids to who's going where on the weekends and different things like that.
So you guys went to Valley Center on Saturday. Pretty loaded tournament with Bishop Carroll, Newton, Rose Hill, and track wrestling showing 4th place. But a couple open weights in there. Is that something that you guys are going to fill throughout the year?
We had a couple opens in there. At 113, we got a first-year kid in there that's filling in. He's the only kid we have at 113, so we sent him to the JV tournament in McPherson where he was able to go 2-0 and find a little bit of success, just trying to get him some success before really plugging him into a varsity lineup. And, wrestling 5A schedule as a first-year wrestler could take a pretty big toll on you, and we don't want to see him, get too discouraged. So we're trying to protect him a little bit, I guess you can say. But, he will step in there for the duels for us and eventually step into the varsity lineup at tournaments as well. And then we had a sickness at 144.
And then, so getting into the weights and some of the results here, looks like from about 150 up, you guys are pretty solid. You've got 4 ranked kids in there. Let's start with your junior, Cooper Lyles, at 157. How has he looked early on?
Cooper looked well. I was a little worried about Cooper just because he's not really cutting a lot of weight, which is not a problem at all in our books, but you just don't know how a kid's going to, be able to wrestle when the year before they cut a pretty good chunk of weight off of them. And then this year, basically cutting nothing. Sometimes wrestling kids who are cutting a little bit of weight when you're used to using your muscle a little bit can affect them. But Cooper's doing well so far. I believe he's 6-0 with 5 pins. Pinning a pretty good kid in the finals from El Dorado, I think, who's ranked 6th in 4A. So.
And then you've got another number 4 kid, another junior, Matthew Johnson at 175. And another solid start.
Yeah, Matthew Johnson also had a good start. He finished first as well. I know he had a really great run at the state tournament, so this bracket was actually a little bit more overwhelming for him than what a lot of people think. There's a lot of kids that were in his bracket this week that actually beat him the year before. And so him coming out first and taking care of business was a big win for him.
And then Jay Sharch is a sophomore. He's already ranked. I've known Jay since he was little, so kind of fun to watch him come up, and now he's at the high end of the varsity level. How has he looked in the first 2?
Jace looked well. Honestly, all our guys need to get in a little bit better shape, but Jace came through, got first. He's in a 6-man round robin, went 5-0, so anytime you're picking up wins, whenever you're winning the ones you're supposed to be and not, taking a dumb loss here and there, that's going to be improvement, especially just being a young sophomore still. Last year, I know he had a lot of losses that he wished he could take back, and so far he's taking care of business on some of those matches that maybe could have gone either way.
Talking to Great Bend High School wrestling coach Nathan Broeckelman. And how about some of the other kids? Kevin Schrader's ranked 215.
Yeah, Kevin had a pretty good bracket there. He had the number, I think, one of the top kids in the 4A bracket was in his weight. We took a loss to the Newton kid, who I knew was going to be tough. He wasn't in the rankings, but he was actually, not far off from the top 6. And then Bishop Carroll kid, we split with him. We won the first match. We ended up getting pinned in the second match, but if you were watching the match, we were kind of winning the match and almost got a pin ourselves and kind of just got caught up in the third period. But, that's why you wrestle the matches and why you wrestle the full 6 minutes.
And then speaking maybe of an upset, Skylar McMullen was a senior at 138. Looks like he gets a couple pins, and then he beats a ranked Newton kid, so kind of pleased to see him come out.
Yeah, we knew Skylar was going to do some good things for us. Last year he kind of stepped up for the team and bumped up to 152, and really he probably could have wrestled 132 or 138, so he just kind of tried to stay big and wrestle up for us to fill a spot. And so this year he actually kind of gets to wrestle his own weight class, and hopefully we see him on the medal stand at the end of the year.
And then just hit the ground running. You've already got a couple matches under your belt. Kind of nice to have that early action this early in the season to see where you're at.
Yeah, it was nice to see. One thing we definitely need to work on is our conditioning. We were a lot more out of shape than I thought we were going to be. So we'll have to kind of deal with that this week as we head into our opening up against Dodge City for WAC competition. That's always, usually has in the past, always been a barn burner. We will be at Dodge on Thursday.
All right. Great Bend High School wrestling coach Nathan Broeckelman. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
More Sports Day after this.
Venture Corporation is a homegrown company with almost 50 years of experience in asphalt, paving, and construction. They have quite a few jobs scheduled for the new year, and they need equipment operators, mechanics, and CDL drivers. Venture offers many benefits, including 401k and Blue Cross Blue Shield health insurance. Call Leslie for all the details. Work for a family-owned and family-oriented company that is here today and will be here in the future. Venture Corporation, South Highway 281, Great Bend, is an equal opportunity employer.
When you need to get rid of the pain, you want the best. You need to see Dr. Dan Quillen at Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Dr. Dan is Barton County's only board-certified clinical specialist in orthopedic physical therapy. No matter your age, when it hurts, he will help. Call Dan at 620-282-4825. That's 282-4825. Excellence-driven, unrivaled results. Catalyst Therapy and Sports Rehab. Inside the Fieldhouse at 9th and Madison in Great Bend.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Sports Day is presented by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department. Sports Day on 1590 KVGB and 95.5 FM.
Welcome back, Sports Day. Steve Webster, Mike Hesher in with you for the last few couple minutes of the program today. Good show. Alan Clark coming in. Coming off a loss. They had a great win last Wednesday, so right back at it. Wednesday at Cloud County. Jim Misuanas always bringing it today. He was a happy K-Stater. And, Nathan Broeckelman does a tremendous job of promoting his program, and you're going to see more about it. The huge wrestling meet they're bringing in here. It's schools from all over the state.
So, the only 2-day event in Kansas? Is that what they're speculating?
And there's going to be Christmas trees and so keep an eye on a Great Bend Post, and, of course, with Mike Courson, and then Nathan will be back on tomorrow talking about the girls wrestling. So, that's a program that is just going great, getting kids involved. So that's really neat. Okay. Panthers, Baker Mayfield's gone. That's just amazing. Houston, still ranked number 1 in the new AP college basketball poll. Texas at number 2. So I guess if you look at next year for the Big 12, you've got Houston and Texas in there. Virginia, Purdue, UConn, Kansas is ranked 6th. Let's see. Baylor from the Big 12, they're in there at number 12. Iowa State, number 20. Let's see how K-State did. Did they get any more votes? 1 vote.
That's it? Well, they did lose. They lost and almost lost to Wichita State, so I can see that.
But they lost on the road at Butler.
But still, that Wichita State game did not fare well.
Watch out for K-State, man. I think they're going to be pretty good.
I do, too.
Okay, tomorrow on the program, we will have Let's see, Cole Rife, we'll get a preview of that Barton game. Voice of the Cougars is going to be on. Derek Joyner will be on, bringing a couple players with him. And on the Prowl with Mike Courson.
It's nice to be back into a season again where we have activity.
Just wait till Christmas. I don't have any more vacation days. Talk to you.